I'm Dr. Deb Claypool, and I teach Anatomy 1 and 2, Bio 141 and 142, both sections. And so basically today I just want to talk about the syllabus, which basically will look the same for the second half of the course, but I usually put it on nice bright paper so you can find it in your notebook. And so here is the information about the course specifically, and there's a second sheet that gives you what we're doing week by week in lecture and in lab. So I'll discuss that in a minute. And then I have another sheet that explains my curve that I have for 141 and 142. So first of all, on this syllabus, basically you're going to see up here on the top the section numbers. And so if you're in 141, you'll have a one section, and then there's another section like MO1A and then MO2A. And so basically I put both of those sections up on the top so that basically if you can't make it to lecture or lab, then you'll know the times for the other classes where you could drop in and still hear the lecture or not miss a lab. So basically we have lecture for 141 on Monday, and basically the room number is in here also, and you can see this on Moodle, okay? You can check this out on Moodle also, but basically for the fall, we have 141 at 1:30 to 4:15, and then another section at 5:30 in another room behind us usually, and that goes till 8:15. So lectures are on Monday, and then the labs are on Wednesday. And so all the labs are listed in the boxes. And so basically we have labs like at 12 and at 2, 4, and 6. So if you can't come to your particular lab, just show up at another time so that you don't miss the material. Same thing for lecture. If you can't make it to the 5:30 class, then please come to the 1:30 class so that you can hear the material. All right? So that's the information up here on top. And then here's my information, Dr. Deb Claypool. I have a PhD in anatomy and physiology from Oklahoma State University, go Cowboys. And so basically I also have a DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine, and I've also taught and attended med school for 3 years. So I'm pretty well versed in what I'm teaching. All right, so I do have an office upstairs. It's room 220. I have office hours listed. They change every semester. I have a phone, and you can leave me messages. But the best way to get a hold of me is by sending me an email, because I check email all the time because I have 2 iPhones, one on AT&T and one on Verizon. And so basically, that's the fastest way to get a hold of me. So my MidMitch account is just dclaypool@mitch.edu. And then I have another classic email, debclaypool@aol.com, because my Gmail has been hacked 5 times. And so I'm just sticking with my old standby AOL.com. Never been hacked. All right, then the next section on the syllabus is supplemental instruction. And so I usually have a supplemental instructor, which means a former student or a current student that has done really well in the class. And basically, they're going to hold review sessions an hour before lecture. And so we have to tell you what room it's in because that changes. But basically, that's going to be their information in these boxes, their email and their name, and what time basically the reviews will be. Then below the supplemental instruction area is prerequisites for this class. You have to have had Bio 101, a general biology class, and basically pass that with a C to get into Bio 141, okay? And so that would be the prereq. Course materials, what do we use? We use a lecture book, which is basically called Visual Anatomy and Physiology. We use a lab book that's basically called Human Anatomy, CAT version. And then we you have to buy a lab pack, which has all my lab materials, lab sheets in it. And so, and optional materials for the course. I also draw all the way through the class. I do not do PowerPoint at all. And so basically I give you sets of notes and then I draw to explain the notes, which works out really well. So I actually have a lot of markers on the board tray up there at different colors. And so if you buy some primary colors, you'll be able to color code your notes also. Okay? It also says you can use a digital recorder, absolutely, but just don't misuse the information or make some sort of viral video because don't want to get in trouble, right? You don't want to get in trouble for that, right? So anyway, and you can use your cell phones to take pictures of my drawings on the board. That's no problem either. So basically, what books do you need to take to class all the time? To lecture and to lab, you need to bring the lab book, which has a spiral binding on it, the spiral binding, the wire, and you have to bring your lab pack. So to lecture and lab, always lab pack and the lab book, okay? And I will also provide extra review sheets for you in lab over all the material for the week. Okay, so basically down here, course outcomes and objectives. Basically this section just tells you what I'm going to teach you, which will be some basic histology of the 4 tissues. Then I'm going to teach you about how organs are built, and then we're going to go into the 4 body systems this semester, which will be the integument system, the skin. Then we go into the skeletal system, and then it will be muscular and nervous system. And that's the order that we always have it in. And then in A&P2, and you will use the same books for A&P2. So don't get rid of them. All you have to buy is another lab pack for A&P2. So basically, in A&P2, we'll go over the 7 body systems that we do not cover this semester because there are 11 body systems. And so that's what we'll continue with in the next time you take the course, A&P 142, right, Bio 142. Okay, and then on the back side, basically, I have suggested supplemental material, and there are tutors available in the library through the Science Center. We also will have open labs that you can come and review lab material and lecture. And so former students or current students will be holding those open labs for you. And I have to tell you what the times will be because I usually don't know them right away. And then strategies, it says students should read the material beforehand. A lot of times for my classes, students like to read the material after I've lectured on it because they like to hear my explanation of what they're looking for in the textbook. So basically that's the way my students like to do things. And then you can rewrite your notes or redraw things, and that will help you remember things better for the long term. Withdrawal policy is the week before finals on a Friday, and so that will be on this date sheet, the drop time. Attendance policy, basically you need to come to lecture and lab because that's the best way to pass the course, of course. And no quizzes. I give quizzes in lecture only, and I always give 2 at a time. And we'll have like 16 quizzes throughout the semester, and you will only take the top 5. Each quiz is worth 10 points, and so you just need to be able to get 50 points out of 5 of those quizzes, right? Or maybe you won't get 50 points, but anyway, but they will not be made up. So if you miss lecture, then that's it, right? Unless you email me and say, Deb, I can't make it to the 1:30 class. Can I come to the 5:30 class and go to that lecture and then take the quiz with them? And I would say yes, probably for that. So anyway, but quizzes are not make-upable. Okay, and then only 1 lecture or lab test can be made up at the end of the semester with a verifiable excuse. So going on a vacation is not a good excuse for missing a test. Now, if you have some sort of big life event like happen, like you're going to get married and you already have booked your honeymoon or whatever, let me know if there's a conflict with you not being able to take the tests for certain weeks, okay? And so all you have to do is me or ask me after class or before class and say, Deb, I got this problem, and then we'll discuss it, and then we'll figure out a solution to it, okay? So, but basically, yeah, you want to be here for the test because these are not hard tests, but there's a lot of material and a lot of terminology in A&P, so definitely try to be here. So if you're going to miss a test at the last minute and you haven't talked to me for any reason, then you have to call and leave me a message and say, Deb, I can't make it, or shoot me an email real fast from your phones. All makeups will be the last week of finals on a Friday, and so that's when we give them in the science department, and so that's the attendance policy right there. School cancellation policy, if they cancel or tell us we have to go back online for any reason, we will probably all get an email from the administration. But if it's like a snow day or something questionable, basically, or some sort of weather condition, just me and I'll usually send you out an email telling you what's going to happen anyway, okay? And then classroom behavior, I have the best students in the world. I really don't have any problems with any of them. And so basically, if you do decide you want to be a cheater, that will basically knock you out of my class, and you'll get an F for the final grade, and that will be it. So as a future medical professional, you don't want to be a cheater. You've got to know the information. So just take responsibility and say, you know what, I've got too much going on this semester. I think I'll just repeat this class. And you can repeat it one time. And so basically, don't be cheating, right? I have caught cheaters, unfortunately, and other people have told me about them if I missed them. And so I'm very good at being nonchalant and catching you, so don't do it. Okay, and then you have to, when you're in class, basically just keep your cell phones on silent. I don't care if you have them out, that's fine with me, but if you're playing on them all the time, you'll never be passing this class. I'm just telling you that, it's true. And so basically, that's fine to use them to take pictures of the boards, whatever, okay? And then the last page, page 3 here, it's gonna have information on how your grades determine. So basically, we are gonna have 3 lecture tests, each worth 100 points. And so they're a combination of multiple choice, true, false, matching, fill in, short answers, and I give you some bonus. And basically, I hand score everything. We do not use Scantrons. So everything is hand scored so that I can give you half points, right? Scantrons, it's either all or none. And so you lose a lot of points because of that. So basically, we have 3 lab tests. And so your lecture test will always be on a Monday, and then your lab test will always be on Wednesday. And you'll sign up for a time to come take it. And it'll only take about 15 minutes. And I'll have 25 stations set up. You can go around as many times as you want. And it's fill in the blank. It's questions related to the material we've covered in lab. And then there'll be some bonus. So those are worth 50 points each. And then you're going to have 5 quizzes that you have to accomplish. And so that equals 50 points because they're 10 points each. And we will have about 16 of them at least. And then you have to do 5 anatomy review articles over basically something about the systems this semester, or anything we talk about in A&P1. You could even do stem cells, because stem cells are loose CT, right? And you're going to learn about connective tissue. So you have to do all 5 articles, and if you've been in our 101 classes, you know the format, but I'm a little more particular. So basically in your lab pack, there is a page in it that will actually show you how to do it, and I'll be reviewing this with you later. But basically all 5 articles have to be turned in at one time. You cannot just do them and send me one and then one later. All 5 at one time. when you're in the health sciences, everything is due immediately and you have to do a complete job. So basically, you'll have to have a title of the article, and that's worth like 2 points. And then you're going to summarize the article that you read, 2 points. And then you're going to tell me what you thought of it, 2 points. And then you're going to pick like the top 4 or 5 words, anatomical words, 2 points, just list them. And then you're going to basically attach a copy of the first page of the article, or you can link it so that I can go and see where the article is on the web, right? So that will give you 10 points by the time. That's my little rubric for grading it, okay? So turn in all 5 at the same time, and for every day they're late, basically that's 10 points off. This is not extra credit, so if you don't turn them in, it will drop your grade significantly, like by a whole letter grade at least. So I've had people that were on the verge of an A and they decided not to turn them in, and guess what? Well, they had enough points, they made a B minus, but it dropped them all the way down from a B plus to a B minus. So that's sort of sad. So you don't want that to happen, okay? And then I have a grading scale on here, and this is basically the grading scale. So your total points for the semester in AP 1 and 2 is 550 points. And so here is the grading scale, and it says it's curved for extensive histology. And so because histology, microscopic anatomy, makes it harder to learn. So anyway, that's the curve, at least on the syllabus like this. And then I put a little area down here so you could record your scores. I will also post your scores on Moodle, but it doesn't, I do not have an official grade book on there. I like a hard copy of that, and my Excel spreadsheet is rather difficult because it has to go through and always update your 5 quizzes, top 5 quizzes. So anyway, that's just a little spreadsheet right down there to record all your grades. All right, and then on the back, very back, here's just some general information that we are required to give you about everything at mid, like academic dishonesty policy. Where is it? On the mid website. So there's the link to it, emergency procedures, the link, Americans with Disabilities Act, the ADA. There's the link for that, the Clery Act, and then the Family Educational Rights and Privacy, the FERPA, so that no one knows your grades. There's the link to that. So that's what I basically have on this. This is the main frame of the syllabus right here, okay? And then I do have a golden sheet that I always give you because it's golden, right? And this is the real curve I'm going to use for your classes. Why? Because when I first came, I was trying to notice who were the best students in nursing and how did they do in A&P, so I could correlate what kind of scores do you have to make in your A&P courses to be successful in the nursing program or in the x-ray program back in the day. So anyway, I found out that basically you have to at least know 70% of the material to be able to successfully complete a health science degree. And so basically here is my curve. So 90 to 100 are the A's, right? I do not cheapen anyone's grade, so if you work hard, then you're gonna get that A. The B's are 80 to 89, and basically that's a good scale. And then here's your break. This is the true curve. 70 to 79 is the B minus. And that accommodates this hard histology that's incorporated into your 2 classes. So anyway, B minus is 70 to 79, and that's more than fair, okay? And then C's are in the 60s, D's are in the 50s, and then to fail, you have to know less than half the material, okay? So this is what I'm gonna use to grade you. And then I always give a 10-point fudge factor, like a bonus. And that fudge factor is for good attendance, okay? You're here. Basically, good attitude, because remember, I did not make you, and I did not write the book. So don't hold it against me, this hard material and all the terminology. I didn't make it up, right? So I'm just trying to teach it to you so you can understand it and be able to explain it to your patients. So anyway, and what else is that 10 points for? Bad test questions, questions that you think are tricky or, oh my gosh, that was too hard or whatever. So if I have some bad questions in there and I don't want to go back and regrade everybody's for 1 point, basically, okay, there you go. It's in that extra 10 points. And everybody gets them, unless you just never show up, then you're not going to get them. Exactly. Okay? So anyway, this is the golden sheet. This is the curve I go by, right? Okay? And so do our other adjunct instructors that teach 141 and 142. They do the exact same configuration of grades with that 70 percentiles being the B minus. And then here is the most important thing. I always say put this on your refrigerator because this is what we're doing every week. So in the middle right here, in the middle, these are the lecture book, the big book, the heavy visual anatomy book. These are the pages that basically I'm covering. And so you need to put more emphasis on the lab book pages. The lab book is easier to read, it's more condensed, and it's faster to read, okay? And so here's the lab book or the lab pack pages listed over here, week by week by week, okay? And so basically, just look at this, and I'm always right on schedule. I mean, it's rare that I get behind, and if I do, don't worry, I'll catch up, right, okay? And so all of your lab material on this side, we have podcasts for all your labs. So if you can't make it, then I'll be sending you weekly emails telling you which ones to look at for learning your lab material for that week, okay? We are making new podcasts for 141 labs, a few new ones, and then we're making all new lecture ones because there are none, right, for lecture. And so AMP2 has everything completed because of the COVID. We got all the lectures done, and so we have lectures, podcasts for everything in AMP2, and all the labs are online also. So anyway, that's sort of the plan right here, and you'll see the first set of tests comes the week of October 5th, or the 6th week of the class, and basically the lecture is always on Monday, and that's all we do, and then on Wednesday you'll do your lab test in the lab, right? And so the first test is always on histology and the language of anatomy, okay? And the second test usually comes about the 11th week, and it's on solid and tube organs, and then integument and skeletal system. And your final, which is generally the hardest one, is on muscles, right? Muscular system and the nervous system with all the senses. So basically that's how it divides out. And on here it also says when the articles are due, and the articles are due in lab, basically the week before finals, right? So that's a little bit of an overview of what I gave you today, real quick like. So, and some extra information so you can understand what we're doing, but hopefully you'll have a great semester and enjoy learning AMP.